Hi, this is Stephanie Grandi with Tierra Antigua Realty and also this year's president of Women's Council of Realtors Tucson for the year 2020. And I'm here with Darren McElroy, who is one of our longtime strategic partner sponsors and very involved with Women's Council for many years. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to talk to him about how long he's been with us and why he stays with us, what he likes about partnering with Women's Council. And I'm just going to turn the floor over and let him introduce himself and talk a little bit. Darren, you're on.
Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate the opportunity to join you here. It's always good to see the faces during these times when we don't get to see face-to-face of a whole lot of people. So
yeah,
do appreciate the opportunity. But yeah, long-termish, I joined Women's Council in 1984. So it's been a couple of years and had all kinds of experiences during those years. And that was way back when we were doing lots of shows and other outside events. And so I stayed active with them for quite a few years until I took a different role with the company I was with. So I was kind of off the grid for a few years and then got back involved again in about 2009 or 10. So, but have been a steady member since. So, and they always put on some great programs and really enjoy the camaraderie within that group. I've been a member of a lot of different organizations, Mortgage Bankers Association. I'm a past president of the Arizona Mortgage Bankers, for the state, as well as the local chapter. And then I was president of an 8-state alliance also, late 90s. And all different groups operate differently, for various reasons. But this local chapter of WCR just seems to be so close knit, and again, the camaraderie is just very cool to see. So,
yeah,
for me, I've met a lot of people over the years, and as we talked about, the partnering factor, it has been a good opportunity that you get to meet more realtors in an environment like that, where you're having lunch and you're just kind of rubbing elbows and talking industry things, and it's just a nice thing to have available to you.
So with everything that's going on right now with COVID-19, and right now as we are talking, it is June of 2020. Tell us a little bit about what's going on in your industry, what's changed in your industry in recently, past little bit.
Well, yeah, it's taken a lot of interesting turns. I mean, we started getting conference calls probably that first to second week of March, right at the time of shutdowns. And as things progressed, volumes were very heavy. Interest rates were very low. So we were getting a lot more purchase and refinance volume coming in. So everybody's crazy busy. And then we start to get invited to some of the corporate calls and then some of the chapter calls. And they start talking about, I know you might not have thought about this, Mr. Loan Officer, but you realize we're going to have to re-verify everyone's income again. So those who just started the loan, still in process, we now have to go, are they still employed? Has their hourly, hours they're working dropped? Have they been furloughed already? And if so, are we still even going to be able to qualify them at all? So that was a real big eye opener right from the get-go. We got lucky with a lot of them, and a handful we didn't. I've got two actually just in the last week have gone back to work. So it's really just one of these timing things, and you hope that those employers still embrace that same employee and bring them back. So that's been a unique thing to be able to deal with. And of course, we always do the re-verification of employment right at the time of closing anyway, so they still have to have those jobs. So that's then been one of many of the, or I should say, some of the biggest things going on. And then as far as the whole industry, and I'll go into probably the third or fourth week of March, early April, we were hearing where a lot of national companies were putting in additional risk layering, meaning they were increasing their FICO scores, they were requiring larger down payments. They still did all the verification of employment and things like that, but they were also increasing their interest rates, risk-based, meaning we're not feeling so good about the market right now and things in general, so we're going to tweak that interest rate a little bit. And then the second part of increasing the interest rate was they would do that for purposes of shutting off volume. And I've seen this before in some refi bubbles over the last, 20 some years. So, so things really took a big shift. Rates went up for there about 2 to 3 weeks, and then they slowly trickled back now that there's some normalcy going on Wall Street and in the secondary market. So that's been, probably the most thing we've had to deal with. But there's changes every day. And at least for Guild, we service our own loans. So I've had a lot more time I've had to spend with past clients that have closed over the last few years, making inquiries about, hey, what do? I did lose my job. My wife lost her job. And now we are in a little bit of a stress mode. I'd have to kind of hold their hand and coach them a little bit on what they need to do if they really need to use the forbearance option or if they don't have to use it. So if they're lucky enough to still have enough income in the household, we were recommending keep making your payments. You don't want to go on that forbearance because it kind of shoots you in the foot for quite a while. So like the modifications did back in '09 through, the following 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
So that's been, something that's been a little bit different, at least for us internally. We're lucky that we're able to lower or keep the low end FICO score buckets available. When all the lenders were bumping up their FICO scores by 20 to 40 points, they could not do anything under 640. We were still able to go down and operate and function in that 600 to 640 bucket. So that's been a nicety for us. So.
Well, we are very glad to have you, and Women's Council of Realtors Tucson is very glad to have you. And nice to be able to support you and put something out about how amazing you are. And thanks for being around with us for such a long time. We really appreciate you.
Well, thank you. WCR has been great support to me over the years, and I will continue to be a member and participate for a long time coming.
Yay, that's what we like. Thanks, Darren. Thanks for your time very much.
Thank you.